Hello and welcome back to the Elite Takeover Podcast, the best place to get your weekly wrestling news and reviews. Of course, I am your host, Aidan, joined always as...
Raph. Joined always as Raph.
Joined always as Raph. It makes perfect sense. No one listens to what I'm saying, even though you have to. It's a podcast. You have to keep listening. Of course, if you're checking us out on YouTube, make sure to subscribe, like, leave a comment below what you're looking forward to at Revolution. And if you're listening on any of the major podcast apps this is available on, make sure to subscribe, give us a 5-star review, and all of the usual shebang. But let's get things started with what's been going on in the news this week. Been quite a busy week of news. We'll start off with the silly stuff. Soulja Boy, the rapper from the early noughties.
I saw that this morning.
It's such a nonsense. Calling out wrestling for being faker. Rap is faker than the wrestling game, and everyone got very upset with Soulja Boy for calling wrestling fake, including Randy Orton particularly, calling him out, and Soulja Boy and everyone getting very... Yeah, all very nonsense, and then people trying to get their name out there by attacking Soulja Boy. All out of war between the rap world and the wrestling world on Twitter. But nothing significant in the slightest. Just silly. Silly. It's not... Especially in, like, this time where there's a lot of... The crossover's kind of becoming more again, especially with, like, Bad Bunny and all this stuff going on.
Yeah.
There's becoming more of a crossover. There's more people who are interested in doing this kind of stuff. Yeah, it's just silly. It's just silly. But it doesn't matter. It's literally a nonsense thing that happened. Yeah. It's quite entertaining. Like, quite funny to look back at some of the tweets from what was going on. We got a report that NXT will be moving nights. It will no longer be on Wednesday after WrestleMania. The first week after WrestleMania, it seems like it will be moving to Tuesdays, apparently.
Exciting.
Yes, I think this is, like, super good news.
It's a very good move from them, from the part.
Well, it's not really anything to do with them. It's also the network. It's to do with, I can't remember the exact details, so obviously we don't have USA over here.
Yeah.
But it's to do with the USA Sports channel or whatever having to stop being a thing. And so Wednesday Night Hockey now needs a place, and they don't want to put NXT against the hockey, essentially.
Yeah, okay.
So that's why it's moving to Tuesdays. It's kind of the idea, I believe. Obviously, none of this is confirmed just yet. Have to wait and see what actually is.
If it does happen,
announced.
I think it's really good because
yeah,
people that actually like to watch NXT and AEW like us, it's just good to be able to watch them both in different days and not like having to catch up.
Yeah,
in a different day or something like that.
Yeah, no, it's a real pain with AEW and NXT going head to head.
Yeah,
the war doesn't help.
No.
The war isn't helping either of the shows. And I understand, like, the idea of NXT being put there. I know, obviously, Wednesday always was NXT's spot. But putting it on USA and putting it there was to kind of take away from Dynamite, at least from a...
But then neither of them are
viewership.
Getting the best rankings of, like, views and stuff. So having them in different days will allow people they enjoy to watch both of them, watch them in the different days, giving both networks better ratings.
Yeah, it's going to be better for both of the shows because then people can watch both. I know people are still going to be very much... I forgot what the phrase is, but when you don't like other people watching the other show, people are still going to be like that. It's still going to be...
but...
Twitter's still going to be a nightmare.
Yes.
But hopefully things will be a little bit better because it's not a face-to-face competition.
Yeah.
I know obviously there's always going to be the whole AEW versus WWE thing, and people would say whatever they want about it and rip into AEW, rip into WWE. I wish they wouldn't, but it's just the way it is, unfortunately. I don't understand why we can't just enjoy having good wrestling around.
Yeah, exactly, because both NXT and AEW are so good.
Yeah.
They are similar but different in their own ways. So I feel like having them in different days is just really nice for people that enjoy this kind of wrestling.
Yeah, completely. We also might be seeing some new titles being brought into NXT. We have reports that there's going to be... Well, you say fingers crossed. It doesn't entirely... Yes and no. I'm happy about it in terms of for NXT.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of the broader WWE, it's kind of a bit like, So apparently they're going to be bringing in a new women's tag titles for NXT specifically after the shenanigans in the women's tag team title match. Last week, William Regal announced that he was going to have a ground-shaking announcement.
Yeah.
Of course, we'll talk about NXT properly later, but it seems like this announcement is probably going to be a women's tag team title specifically for NXT, which is great for them because they have so much women on the brand who do great stuff, and they are really good at telling women's stories in NXT. So I'm very happy with the idea of it.
Yeah.
The only thing is it continues the whole NXT
brand separation.
Yeah, the brand separation. NXT isn't on the same level as the main roster in the slightest. It's not the third brand anymore. It's not.
Yeah.
Like when they were referencing that it definitely isn't what it is anymore. It's this distant cousin essentially.
I don't mind as long as they have tag team championships for the women. Makes me happy.
Yeah.
And if there can be 2 tag team champions teams at a time, it's fine. Like, I don't mind it. Obviously, the title on WWE is not doing very well on the main roster.
Yeah.
It's not doing very well, but it might do well.
I think the title would do well in NXT, but I think it would have just made more sense to just take the ones from the main roster down, and then you can just continue to float around.
Yeah.
And like that's the whole point of that title, is that you can float, and boy do they float, because Shayna and Nia are just all over TV.
Yeah.
They do not disappear, which is
it's fine.
It's fine. It's not the worst thing in the world, but I just think it makes NXT more separate, which is fine. But
it's fine. I really don't mind as long as they have a tag team championship down there as if.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't overblow.
Yeah, as long as they have a tag team championship for the women's there, I'm fine with it. I'm happy with it.
The only thing, I guess, is if you look at takeovers are typically five matches.
Yeah.
Pretty much. That's pretty much what you always get. And currently in NXT, there is now 6 championships.
Oh, wow. I didn't think of that, yeah.
And the Cruiserweight Championship never gets defended.
Yeah.
I know, obviously, it's more... Like, they still have 205 Live. Not that anyone watches 205 Live.
Yeah.
But that Cruiserweight Championship just doesn't get defended, really. Occasionally on TV, but not very often. I'm not putting any shade on Santos. I think Santos does a very good job with it. But they just doesn't get defended, doesn't get the credit it deserves. Those the NXT Tag Championships, sure, they're getting a little bit of a... Hopefully we're getting into a renaissance for those tag championships, but they have lost so much credibility over the last year.
Yeah.
They've really plummeted into, like, since Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne won those belts, it's really gone downhill, the NXT tag division. It's not been very great. And that's not to say the talent isn't good. It's just they haven't been given the proper time on the show, really.
Yeah.
Because it's not been the Undisputed Era. It's not been a main event team holding them. And so NXT hasn't necessarily shown much interest in them, which is a shame because, like, when you look back at the takeovers from a couple of years ago, the tag team match would, like, completely steal the show, like Mustache Mountain versus Undisputed Era.
Yeah.
When they had only Birch and Lorcan versus Undisputed Era. I know I'm just saying Undisputed Era matches, but the Viking Raiders had some really great matches with those titles. There's been loads of, like, great tag teams, like the Street Profits as well, when they were in NXT, and it's just a shame that it's kind of died a bit.
Yeah.
And then the Women's Championship, it's always going to be a main event.
Yeah.
It's on the same level as the Men's Championship and North American. But like all those are going to kind of, like, those 2 championships are kind of always guaranteed to be defended on a takeover.
Yeah.
But you can't guarantee that the women's tag team championships will be on takeovers, because there isn't necessarily room.
Yeah, I think there will be. I think they will find a way of doing it.
I think to start with, yeah, but I don't know long term whether it will stand the test of time.
Yeah.
We got news that WWE has banned thigh slapping.
What?
Yes, they banned thigh slapping.
Like doing
kips, yeah.
Oh.
I don't...
Why? How? What?
Well, they're just not allowed. They're not allowed to do it. They're going to get fined if they do it. Particularly NXT. They're kind of making a point to NXT. It's banned everywhere in WWE now. But they're making a particular point to NXT that you're not allowed to do it, and you'll be fined if you do it.
Then how do you make the noise of the, like, super kicks, for example?
You don't.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. I don't get it. I think that's utterly stupid.
Yes.
I don't understand why they would do this. Like,
most of the times you just don't see it anyways, and you still believe that the noise was made by the kick.
Occasionally, sure, but if you're seeing the kip, then traditionally and typically that means you ain't that into the match.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're looking out for that stuff, it means they're already doing a bad job with the match itself, or you just don't like, Johnny Gargano matches. Essentially,
that's
it's kind
so
of like
silly.
a general level.
That's so silly.
Yeah, it makes no sense to me. It adds so much having those kips.
Like you look at the Young Bucks doing like all their super kicks and stuff, and it's just so incredible.
Yeah.
They always do, like, instead of finding people and banning the thigh slaps, I can't speak, the thigh slaps, like, just teach your talent how to hide them from the public.
Yeah, just actually,
like, do a good job with...
better job of that.
Yeah.
Because it's such like a standard part of like street, like just general like stage fighting.
Yeah, exactly.
Fighting for film, fighting for anything.
Like, entertainment wrestling is known for those.
Yeah, it's all based in the same field. I don't understand why. It's like going, okay, cool, I'm going to go and see a play, but they're not allowed to do any slapping. They're not allowed to do any kind of noises when they're doing this fight scene in the slightest. And you're like, okay, cool, so he threw a punch, but there's absolutely no noise.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. This takes me out of what's going on in the experience.
Exactly.
So why... It's the same thing with wrestling. Wrestling is just another form of live performance, live entertainment. Why would you want to get rid of the one of the many things that brings you into it more?
Yeah, that makes it impressive.
Yeah, otherwise, like, it's not like I'm watching it on mute. If I'm watching it on mute, that's fine. If I'm watching it with noise, also, I expect to hear some kind of thing, and that gets the reaction.
I'm not watching MMA. I'm not there to watch people actually getting their face kicked out and their teeth knocked out. I'm not watching it to watch that. I'm watching it for the impressiveness of
and
what it
the
is.
Sound of, like, when a super kick hits, it's the thing that makes me, if it's like a regular super kick, the thing that makes me pop is the noise.
Yeah.
If it's like a real good kip, then it's like, oh yes.
Yeah.
And that's what's impressive. It doesn't impress me someone just going super kick, because everyone does super kicks. You need to have that extra thing to a super kick, and if you don't have that noise, that power behind it, and I know we're focusing on super kicks, but it's just kind of the most obvious example of this. But yeah, I think it's a silly thing, a silly thing, and I don't really understand why, and I couldn't really find any reasons why, apart from like older wrestlers don't really like it, but that's the only thing I could see.
Like, to be more realistic,
even though they've done this since the 50s.
Yeah, exactly.
And like Shawn Michaels is like one of the head trainers at NXT, Mr. Superkick.
Yeah.
So, I find that silly. Hopefully we'll have an update on why they've done this in the next week. We'll have to wait and see. On a follow-up to what we talked about last week, Marty Scurll being at the New Japan Strong tapings. After all the controversy, they have decided to pull what was filmed from the tapings. Which is good.
Good, bad for him, obviously. But it is what it is.
Yeah. The main thing I think was the issue is that actually they didn't... A lot of people were upset. A lot of the workers in New Japan were upset because they weren't told. They weren't told they were going to be working a show with Scurll.
Okay.
Yeah. And like... You
people
probably should
happy
be.
About it.
You should be, because being on a show with someone with that kind of reputation currently... It don't look good for you. No. Because that's kind of a way... It looks like you're accepting it. Mm-hmm. Which you... Yeah. Yeah, no. It's not necessarily great. And it's a shame for Marty, but perhaps he shouldn't have been a naughty boy.
Yeah.
Supposedly. I shouldn't say that. Don't sue me. Don't sue me, please. We also have to say condolences. Unfortunately, Jim Crockett Jr. passed away this week. Of course, Jim Crockett inherited Jim Crockett Promotions from his dad, the person that kind of brought WCW to TV back in the day. So yeah, condolences, rest in peace, and all of that such stuff. we'll talk briefly about what's been going on in New Japan before we get on to our Revolution predictions. New Japan had their big Castle Attack show and then had their anniversary show, which saw El Desperado win the vacated Junior Heavyweight Championship. And then Naito went one-on-one with Kota Ibushi for the Intercontinental Championship, which Ibushi retained. And now they have decided that they're going to join these two title belts together. We're no longer going to have the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. We're now going to have the IWGP World's Championship. I forgot what they're calling it. But it's a slightly different name to what they usually call it. Which is a shame. It's a shame. I really like the Intercontinental Championship, but there is a lot of belts in New Japan. There is far too many belts.
Yeah, I was going to say.
They have so many belts. They're worse than WWE for belts. Belts. Everyone has a belt. And yeah, I just don't see why the IC title was the one that had to go. It has such a good lineage. Like it's only been held by top guys, really. It's very rarely been held by someone who hasn't gone on to become a big thing. Like it was essentially Nakamura's belt for a long time. It was held by Kenny Omega just after he kind of started to become a big deal. It was held, but it was what made Naito become what he is today, with him destroying the belt. Like the idea was he didn't care about the belt. He didn't really want to have this belt.
Yeah.
So he would like wreck it on the shows. He would destroy the belt. Like it's helped so many people. I don't see the point of getting rid of the belt. It has such a good lineage, but it's not my decision to make. But
yeah.
I guess that the Never Open Championship is going to be the secondary belt now, which doesn't really interest me because the US Championship's now probably going to be just over in the US. So I don't really know what they're doing over there, but hey, you do you, boo. You do you. I'm not gonna pretend I know everything about New Japan's workings. But we are now done with the news. Let's get going with what's going on with AEW Revolution. Let's go through our predictions for this one. There are 9 matches, but we will make 10 predictions. Spooky.
Huh?
So.
Yes.
You're so confused.
Yeah.
We'll start off with the pre-show match. Riho and Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker and Reba, a.k.a. Rebel. So, before I ask you for your prediction, because I don't want to throw you. There was a little line on commentary on Dynamite which could potentially change this match. There was a little line about the fact that Reba is potentially injured. And potentially Britt Baker might be able to choose her own partner for this match if Reba is not cleared to compete. So it may not be Riho and Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker and Rebel. It could be someone else.
Could be Serena Deeb.
Not Serena Deeb. I think Serena Deeb's got a knee in. Well, I don't know if she had a knee injury. There was a picture of her on Twitter where she just had her knee scoped. So I doubt it'd be Serena Deeb. And also Serena's a good guy.
Yeah.
Potentially could be someone from Impact, could be someone from the NWA.
Yeah.
Who knows? Also in the news, I didn't mention NWA has confirmed that they are coming back to Fight. Now they're going to be on Fight TV. Starting in the middle of March with their comeback show. But anyway, back to our predictions. So what is your prediction for this one? I
think Riho and Thunder Rosa, I think them two will win. I think. Like, no reason at all, just that Riho just came back and Thunder Rosa's been a bit on a losing... Not a losing streak, but like she just lost to Nyla Rose and stuff. So I think that they deserve the win.
I think Riho and Thunder Rosa take the win as well. Just because I don't see either of them taking the pin.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, because Britt's already beaten Rosa. So you don't... Like, obviously, we wanted that story's going to be continuing and it should be continuing. It should be a major part of Dynamite for the women's division. But I don't really think Britt should be pinning Rosa again right now. Because she just beat her clean.
Yeah.
Well, she didn't beat her clean, but she beat her in the middle of the ring.
Yeah.
Riho's only just come back. She ate a big loss with Thunder Rosa, so she shouldn't be taking a loss. Not that I'm not that bothered about Riho. So
yeah, exactly.
She can take a loss, but I know she won't because backstage they really like her.
Yeah.
And if Rebel's in the match, then she's a very easy person to take the loss.
Exactly.
And because of all the other surprises that are going to be on this card, I don't think this would be a big surprise anyway.
No.
It'd probably be a nice little oh, look, it's this person. But it wouldn't be anything major or anything too big. So I kind of think Britt and her partner, whether that be Rebel or someone else, will take the loss in this one. We have the Casino Tag Team Battle Royale, which is essentially going to be a Royal Rumble for tag teams. We do have 15 tag teams confirmed, so this is probably going to be all the tag teams. Maybe no surprises in this one.
I'm really happy that they're making it as a Royal Rumble style instead of the usual Casino Battle Royals that they do where everyone just starts in the ring. I like it that we're actually getting to see
entrances.
And teams at a time every 90 seconds.
So it's going to every 90 seconds a new tag team will enter the match, and it will continue until there is either one competitor or one team left in. So one competitor can't be thrown out.
Exactly.
And the team will still be in until the other competitor is thrown out. So let me go through the list. So we have Bear Country, mainly seen on AEW Dark, not really someone I know particularly well. We have all the versions of the Dark Order in this match. We have Reynolds and Silver, obviously, Uno and Grayson, and we have 5 and 10, because of course 10 didn't get into the match. Apologies, I got confused because I thought 10 had won on Dynamite. My brain went.
Yeah.
But yes, he didn't. And 5 and 10 for Dark Order. Santana and Ortiz for the Inner Circle, Butcher and the Blade, Private Party, Pac and Phoenix from Death Triangle, the Seidel Brothers, Austin Gunn and Colton Gunn for the Gun Club, the Pretty Picture, Peter Avalon and Cesar Bononi, SoCal Uncensored, Daniels and Kazarian, Natural Nightmares, Varsity Blondes, and Jurassic Express.
Oh, there's so many teams I like there.
Yeah.
That I really like, and I wouldn't mind seeing them win, Death Triangle. Who else? Maybe Alex Reynolds and John Silver, but they are involved with something bigger later on in the night, so I imagine that they're okay if they don't win. They have other things to do later on.
Yeah.
I think...
it's really hard. There's so many teams.
Yeah, exactly. Private Party also deserves the win, but
then again,
they're involved in the things later
because
on.
Because they're their heel turn and stuff, they could be, and they're in a very good position now to do that story with the Young Bucks again.
So SEU as well.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go for Jurassic Express just because they're my faves.
Okay.
Just because they're my faves, and I really like them.
I'm gonna. I think this is a really hard one to predict.
Yeah, and also the chances are
the chances are really pretty much neither of us are going to get this right.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's always the chance that the Pretty Picture or the Gun Club will be taken out by the Good Brothers or something.
Yeah.
Or an Impact tag team or a new tag team. You never know with these kind of things. And maybe there isn't going to be 30 men in the match. There could be more than 15 tag teams. We don't know particularly. But so if I was to put money on this, I think the favourites should be obviously Death Triangle.
Yeah.
The Dark. So Alex Reynolds and John Silver, you have to say, have a good chance. Santana and Ortiz have a good chance.
Yeah, they do have a good chance as well.
And I would say those are the guys that kind of have the best chance going into this. Mm-hmm. Just because Jurassic Express just came off this thing with FTR, I don't really. Yeah. I don't feel like that's over yet. That's going to keep on going for now. But I don't see the reason Death Triangle is the obvious one. The reason I don't see them winning is because I feel like Pac should be a future, should be going after Kenny soon.
Yeah.
I think putting Pac and Phoenix into the tag division, as much as that's great for the tag division, it really pushes up the division and would be an amazing match with the Young Bucks, you'd have to assume.
Yeah.
I think Pac and Phoenix should continue being more singles guys.
Single slash
this group they have, especially with Penta now back.
Yeah.
You can get back onto doing the 3-man stuff. So I would rather have that, I think. Silver and Reynolds, I imagine it's all gonna come down into this Matt Hardy thing.
Yeah.
It's a Private Party and TH2 aren't in this. I just realised.
No, they're not.
That's really odd. So they're probably going to get involved from the outside.
Yeah.
So TH2 and Private Party are probably going to end up managing to screw over the Dark Order in this one. Probably, maybe John Silver might be one of the last guys in there. I wouldn't be surprised to see that.
Yeah.
And Private Party, apologies, Inner Circle and Tanner Ortiz, of course, they just had a match against the Young Bucks, but if MJF and Jericho win, there's a pre-made story there.
Yeah.
But I'm going to trust AEW for having continuity in their storylines, which is a dangerous thing to do. And I'm going to go for SoCal Uncensored. Because the storyline was, I know it hasn't been on Dynamite in weeks, but the storyline was, the next time they lose a tag team match, they're going to break up. That's the storyline they were doing, and it kind of felt like they were building up. They were building them up to get to the Bucks, to do this big match where probably they were going to lose, and then they were going to split up.
And then they had to,
but they just didn't. I don't know what happened to the storyline; it just disappeared. So I'm going to trust that AEW has continuity, and the SCU are going to win, mainly because I don't think we're going to guess the right answer.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a very long explanation. Up next, we have Miro and Kip Sabian taking on the best friends, Cassidy and Chuck Taylor. Of course, Trent out injured at the moment. Who do you have for this one?
I think Miro is going to get the win. He's going to be one of the two. I think Chuck Taylor.
Okay.
Even though I would love the best friends to win. But I think this is not finished yet.
No, I think this goes...
And because the good guys, the best friends, have been been on top for a bit, I feel like the bad guys now need to take the win. So I'm going to go for Miro and Kip Sabian. Because he also has... Miro hasn't had any real matches for a while. It's just been squash matches. So I think he has to take the win. He has to get the win.
I disagree. I think Cassidy's going to pin Kip Sabian.
I would love that. I mean, yeah. I'm all for that.
In terms of... if we want Miro to be a big deal in AEW... This, as much as I'm sure he's enjoying this character, and he's clearly enjoying the freedom he's getting to go and be able to do whatever he wants and talk about games and whatever. You have to say it's not necessarily been the best.
Oh yeah, no.
For the best man in AEW, and if you have Cassidy beat Sabian, maybe that's the thing that either Miro then loses it with Sabian, beats him up, and breaks this tag team up, or this leads to a more vicious Miro who, after seeing Kip get beaten, he absolutely just kills Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
He just destroys Orange Cassidy after the match.
Yeah.
And that's a good way to get Miro a lot of heat, because Cassidy is a fan favourite. Whereas if you just have him beat him in the match, I think that's great, but I don't think that necessarily does as much. True. I think if Orange Cassidy gets that win, he needs the win.
Yeah.
Since the Jericho series, he's kind of lost quite a bit and not kind of been on that top level. I think really the feud here should go down to Miro and Cassidy, because they're the big guys here, and that should be what we're going forwards with. So if Cassidy gets the win, Miro then kills him. I think
makes a lot of sense. Yeah,
that's what I would go for if it was me. So I think Cassidy gets the win in this one.
I'll go for that as well.
Hey, no,
I can't.
You made your decision already. We have the big money match. The winner receives the loser's 2021 first quarter earnings. Hangman Adam Page versus big money Matt Hardy. Who's gonna pick up the win in this one?
Hangman Adam Page, of course.
Yeah, I agree that Hangman's gonna win this.
Yeah.
I think the only way I see Hangman losing this, and I think it'd be an interesting story, but it depends where the casino tag team thing is in the show. Yeah. That's what this is what my theory depends on. I'm still going to go with Hangman, by the way. I'm not going for it. But I think the only way Hangman loses this is if Matt Hardy, because obviously Matt Hardy's paying everyone and threatening to kill the Dark Order essentially, because they're Hangman's friends.
Yeah.
So if we want to go forwards with this Dark Order Adam Page thing, what they could do is Matt Hardy's losing this. Hangman's about to win. Matt Hardy though gets a mic and tells them to show the footage going on backstage, And you see backstage the Dark Order being absolutely mauled by Private Party, TH2, some other people that Matt Hardy has hired, just a whole bunch of people that he's hired. Yeah. And he is using them to absolutely destroy the Dark Order, like brutally. And Hangman has to decide, the only way I can save my friends, these guys that have helped me out, is to lose to Matt Hardy. Is to let Matt Hardy beat me right now, and that's the only way to prevent this attack from going on. That's the only way I see Matt winning, and I think it would be interesting storyline wise if they did something like that. But it's more likely Hangman's just going to win because Hangman hasn't lost a match this year so far. He's clearly eventually on the way back to Kenny. Yeah, eventually. I don't know how long that's going to be, but we'll get there eventually. Yeah. We have the street fight. Team Taz, Brian Cage and Ricky Starks versus Darby Allin and Sting.
Of course, Darby Allin and Sting are going to win. I say, because it's the first match that Sting's back, I think they should win. Even though Brian Cage and Ricky Starks are a very strong force to be against, but I really want Darby and Sting to win. Yeah. I want them to. Like, I'm not betting because I think they might win. I'm betting because I want them to win.
So the more I think, so I've like, for all this time I was like, Darby and Sting are going to win. Darby and Sting are going to win. But the more I think about it, it's like, if they win, it's like they beat 5 people essentially. Yeah. Because it's a street fight. There's no way Hobbs ain't getting involved and Hook ain't getting involved.
And Taz.
And Taz potentially doing something. Like, that's 5 people that they're beating. And potentially you could just have Sting take a loss. And you could use that as a pushing block. That's not really a phrase. A starting block for Cage and Starks to move on to something bigger. Which they kind of deserve, to be honest. They've been around really this. Good. Yeah, they've been doing great work, and they've been around this same place on the card for a long old time now. You could use that to kind of push them up, and then you could kind of have Sting have a lack of confidence storyline where he's like, I can't do it anymore, and Darby is kind of like, no,
we're gonna do radical things
you can
together.
Do it, and then we can build to Darby Allin and Sting having a match, or you use that to build to like the Sting and Cody match. So I think either way, but you can't not go with Darby and Sting. You can't not go with them.
Oh God, I really thought you were going for Team Taz.
I know.
I know. All of your freaking story was about Team Taz winning, and now it's suddenly.
But I can't.
You cannot not go with that.
It's Sting's like. Okay, so the main reason I'm going to go for Darby and Sting, not even because Sting is like this is his first match back, not even because of that. It's just because if Brian Cage and Ricky Starks win, I feel like this storyline continues, and I don't want this storyline to continue.
I would not mind.
Really?
Yeah. It's been fine.
Okay, but
no, I'm joking.
But look how long.
Yes,
get rid of the Sting bit of this.
Yeah, no,
Darby Allin has been dealing with Team Taz since basically all the way since Brian Cage debuted. Yes. Which was at Revolution last year, I think. Or maybe it's Double or Nothing. One or the other. I think no, it's Double or Nothing, I think. When Brian Cage debuted. He killed Darby Allin, and the build was eventually we're going to get a Cage versus Allin match, which of course we got in December. We've been on this path for such a long old time, and sure, Darby has beaten Ricky, he's beaten Brian. I think they just need to do this one more, and move on from this, please. We have the Young Bucks taking on the Inner Circle, Chris Jericho and MJF for the Tag Team Championships.
The Young Bucks are retaining. Like, there's no way they're losing unless something stupid goes on and MJF just wins it, like, dirty. Just gets a dirty win, but I want the Young Bucks with the titles. Yeah. And the Inner Circle have better business to deal with, which is Sammy's storyline and stuff.
Yeah, I think there's always a chance. It's Jericho and MJF. There's always a chance. Exactly. But there's going to have to be some shenanigans, some way that they can still claim that MJF is undefeated within logic. Because even because I was listening to his interview with Jericho on Talkish Jericho a little bit, and even though because he's still claiming to be undefeated now, even though he lost to Moxley because because the paradigm shift was banned in the match, so he's still technically claiming, well, even though I'm not undefeated, I am undefeated because Moxley cheated. So there has to be some kind of thing in here that's going to cost them, whether that be Sammy coming back, or whether it's just going to be the start of the dissension in the Inner Circle. But you could also do a thing.
Chris has been upset with MJF as well because of all the being I know what you did to Sammy. We all saw the footage and we all saw that you were recording something and you were trying to get him to say something. So some shenanigans could happen for them.
But what if though? This is another crazy theory. I have so many crazy theories for this. So we have in the Casino Tag Team Battle Royal, you have Santana and Ortiz win. They pick up the big victory, and then you go into this match. The Inner Circle win. MJF gets the victory, and obviously we're building up to this Inner Circle match. Santana and Ortiz versus Jericho and MJF. It's kind of what's going to happen? Is the Inner Circle going to fall apart? Blah 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 blah. You get into the match, and it's a really good match, going, and then suddenly MJF turns on Jericho, puts Jericho into the soul of the earth, and then Santana and Ortiz go and take the pin, and then they turn on Jericho as well, and then that's the moment, and MJF essentially paid off Santana and Ortiz with the idea of them getting the tag titles. To be the thing that makes the Inner Circle turn properly on Jericho. I don't expect that to happen, but that's my crazy theory. But the Young Bucks are going to win. It doesn't make sense to take them off them now. They're on a run. No. They're on a hot run. I wouldn't take them off them. We have Hikaru Shida taking on Ryo Mizunami, the winner of the AEW Women's World Championship Eliminator Tournament for the AEW Women's Championship.
I would like Rhea to win, but there's no way. I don't think she's... Because she's not from AEW. No. I don't think she would be around that long.
So Shida's going to win this. Yeah. So the interesting thing I heard, I didn't see a source for this, but I think it's really interesting if this is true. Because obviously Ryo Mizunami was in the original 6-man tag team match back in 2019 at Double or Nothing. And apparently... before she had that match, she was going to retire. And it was having that match that made her be like, no, I want to have a big match in AEW before I retire. And potentially this could be that match. This could be her retirement match, potentially. Obviously, we wouldn't necessarily know because she's not an AEW person, but this could be a big step towards her retirement. So I don't see her winning this one. No. I see Shida picking up the victory and keeping on going until Rosa or Britt Baker takes that title off her. I just kind of expected that to be at this pay-per-view. Yeah. But no. Of course, we do have the big Face of the Revolution ladder match for a future AEW TNT Championship match. Cody Rhodes versus Scorpio Sky versus Penta El Zero M versus Lance Archer versus Max Caster versus TBA.
I want Lance to win.
You're going to go Lance, okay.
I want Lance to win. It's just, the only thing is that why Scorpio Sky just put in that match out of nowhere. Yeah. No, without getting, a qualifying match.
Well, same with Penta. Same with Cody.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. All those guys, none of them really...
Well, Scorpio's returned from injury. Yeah. And so is Penta. Penta and Scorpio are both returning from injury for this match.
But still, they should still have a qualifying match.
Yes, no, I agree.
I want Lance Archer to win, unless it's this TBA person showing up and getting it.
Yeah. So
it's either Lance Archer or the TBA person.
So the TBA person... It's seeming quite likely it's probably going to be Ethan Page, potentially, who was an Impact beforehand, potentially coming into this match and signing with AEW. We'll have to see on that one, though. Could be anyone, really. But I was going to say I'm going to play it safe. I'm not playing it safe in the slightest. I'm going to say that the entire idea of I keep going backwards and forwards today. Originally, I probably would have gone with Penta, I think, but a Penta or a Lance Archer, but I thought about it, and actually, what's the match called? The match is called the Face of the Revolution ladder match. Mm-hmm. So, actually, this could potentially be a character change.
Yeah.
This could be someone coming out of this match and being like, I'm the face of the Revolution. I'm better than you.
Yeah.
And I feel like Scorpio Sky needs that. Scorpio Sky needs that gimmick change. They have a lot of interest in Scorpio. Yeah. They want to push him big. And I think having Scorpio Sky win this match, coming out and being like, I'm better than you, I'm the face of the Revolution afterwards, and having a character change would be really good for him, give him some motivation, give him something to actually do. And I think that would be a fun match with him and Darby. Yeah. So I'm going to go with Scorpio, even though I think he's probably going to be TBA, but I'm going to go with Scorpio because I don't want to. I'm not going to take the risk on the TBA. The TBA could be Shaq. Shaq could appear after he disappeared on Dynamite. He could do a Fiend and appear. We will have the Big Show, Paul White. No more BS. He will come out and he will be announcing a huge Hall of Fame worthy signing.
Aye.
Any ideas on this one?
I keep saying it's Aleister Black. I know it's not, but I want it to be Aleister Black. I have no freaking clue.
I have to press the button now that says it's a bad word.
I'm sorry. It's just one. You're allowed to say just one.
No, I have to tick it for Apple. No, for Apple, I have to tick it.
Damn it.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't make any difference.
Yes. But yeah, I have no freaking clue who it is. So I'm going with Aleister Black because I want Aleister Black in AEW and I want good vibes to him.
So obviously that's not going to happen.
I know. But I have no freaking clue whoever else could be.
So I would have said Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
I would have said Kurt Angle, but Saturday,
well, I would have said CM Punk, and he straight away went like,
no, it's not me.
It's 100% not me.
Yeah.
Which could be him. Which I would love it to be him.
I'm just going to say CM Punk. I know it's not going to be.
Yeah.
But there's no harm in it. But I would have said Kurt Angle, but today, Kurt Angle teased his in-ring return. He put a video up on Twitter with him lacing up his boots and everything. Teasing going back in the ring, and he's been very vocal about being unhappy about how things ended in WWE. But honestly, I would pop for Angle. I would be happy to see him there.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he moved,
and I wouldn't be surprised if it is Angle. Like that's the most obvious choice. It's going to be Angle, but if they're kind of making it like it's going to be a huge surprise, so for it to be a huge surprise. And the whole Hall of Fame worthy aspect of it, whether it's someone who isn't in Hall of Fame or whether they are, it's kind of a bit confusing on that one. People were thinking it was going to be Christian after being in the Rumble, but apparently he's signed with WWE properly. But I don't see it being Kurt. If it was going to be Kurt, I don't think he would have spoiled the idea of him returning to the ring.
Yeah,
I don't think so. And honestly, I don't want to see Kurt wrestle. It's like not say that he wouldn't do a good job, and it would be completely different. But like that, people have kind of forgotten how bad he was in that last year in WWE. Yeah. It was really bad. It wasn't fun to watch. So I don't want to see it. But
I say CM Punk or Aleister Black.
I said CM Punk.
I say Aleister Black.
CM Punk.
Damn you! If it's CM Punk, I'm gonna be very upset with you.
It's not gonna be CM Punk.
Alistair.
And we have our main event, Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley, an exploding barbed wire death match. I think
is it for the champ? Yeah,
yes,
it is.
It's for the championship.
Yeah, no, Kenny's winning.
Kenny ain't losing.
Winning.
Kenny ain't losing.
No.
There's going to be some apparently this, according to Tony Khan, he was doing an interview. He's been doing lots of interviews recently. Essentially saying that this rivalry isn't going to be over.
Yeah.
Even though after an exploding barbed wire death match. But even so, Kenny's going to win. Shenanigans ahoy.
Yeah.
Jon Moxley's going to be exploded. You're going to see his eyeball go flying out of his head. It's going to be a visceral sight.
Very excited.
So we disagree on
Rio and Thunder. No, we don't.
Tag team, best friends.
Yeah.
Ladder match.
Yeah.
And that's it. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
At least we disagree.
We do disagree on quite a few, though.
A few of them.
We'll have to see who picks up the win there. We're going to be a bit quicker than usual on the old going through the shows. To be fair, the shows this week weren't that exciting anyway, so we're going to kind of go through it a bit more bullet pointy this week. So on
Raw was definitely better than SmackDown, like by a mile.
Really?
SmackDown was just a repetition of everything.
I think they were both pretty bad shows.
Yeah, no, they were.
I don't think I'm
not saying they were great. None of them was great, but
so we'll go through the main story arc on Monday Night Raw, which of course was the Bobby Lashley Miz stuff. So it starts off the show, Drew McIntyre's in the ring talking about losing his championship, about how no matter what happens tonight, whoever has that championship by the end of the night, Drew will have his eyes firmly focused on getting his title back and getting the win. And he is going to be looking to end his rivalry with Sheamus tonight in a big, brutal match they're going to have. Out comes Miz, essentially trying to manipulate Drew McIntyre into helping him prevent Bobby Lashley from winning the championship. Because obviously Bobby Lashley...
He's so innocent. He's so...
Yes, he's a silly boy. Because Bobby Lashley attacked Drew, so he hopes that Drew's going to be like, oh yeah, no, of course, Miz, I'll kick Bobby Lashley in the face for you. And of course Drew goes, no. Don't be silly, I ain't getting involved in this. Whoever wins tonight, I'm going to look forward to kicking their head off. Out comes Sheamus, and they have a brilliant match.
Yeah.
Like 25 minutes. It was
so good.
The only thing that's a shame is like this should have been on the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But this match was brilliant. This was such a fun match. There was some brutal spots.
It was pay-per-view worthy match. Yeah. It was so good.
The finish was great.
Brutal from the beginning to the end.
Yeah, the finish was great. Sheamus and Drew both in the corners going to go, and obviously they both run into their finishers. Sheamus going for the bro kick, Drew for the claymore. Sheamus runs in, but Drew manages to get his leg up higher and manages to hit the claymore onto Sheamus when he's trying to hit the bro kick, and Drew gets the big victory. Really good match.
So good.
Yeah, lots and lots of fun.
It was literally a matter of who's going to get the leg up first and do it first. Yeah, no, it was so good. Yeah, so good.
Oh, and the announce table, and they just chucked him onto the announce table.
Oh god, yes.
And it didn't break, of course.
Yeah.
But the way he just threw him on it, because all the stuff was still on it. It was all still there. He just smashed it onto it. But that match was, if you haven't seen that match, I would say that's probably the match of the week.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
100%.
Go back and check that match out. It was really good. We had Nia Jax taking on Naomi. Who cares?
It's what you expect.
Jax won.
Yeah.
Like, it's not really anything exciting for what's really going on, and ain't really helping this Naomi Lana stuff particularly. We got another video package for Rhea Ripley,
which is exciting.
Exciting. We'll have to see what happens there. We had The Miz. It's now time. They decided it was supposed to be the end of the first hour of Raw. The Miz supposed to defend his WWE Championship against Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley comes out to the ring, but The Miz backstage. He's got cramps.
I have a bellyache.
Oh, I'm so anxious that
Was that the first one?
Yeah, it was. I'm so anxious that I can't do it. I have a bellyache. I can't do it. And for some reason, John Morrison wanted a towel after Miz was pushed down, so it made me feel like Miz had pooped himself.
Yes.
But yeah, Bobby Lashley goes backstage and is unhappy with this and tells Miz he has another hour. You have one more hour. We have Braun Strowman comes out to the ring. He's supposed to be having a tag team match against the Hurt Business with a mystery tag team partner.
And of course, it's the upset baby right now, bro. He's an upset baby.
This sucks. I'm the choo-choo train and this sucks.
I did not accept to have a team.
I didn't want to team with a new one. I deserve championship match, but you won't give me championship match because I was Universal Champion, despite the rules saying I had to be WWE Champion. This sucks.
Basically,
that's Braun Strowman in a nutshell at the moment. Out comes he complains that Shane McMahon and Adam Pearce, they're both keeping him down. Yeah. Adam Pearce is upset after he punched Adam Pearce in the face.
Theories.
Yeah, he should join with Sammy. Please don't go near Sami Zayn. You'll break my heart. Shane O'Mac came out and he's like, look, Braun, I want to prove to you that like we can do this. We're gonna be friends. We're gonna be good guys. Look, the Authority wants you to be friends with us, so you're going to team with Adam Pearce tonight in this Raw tag team match, which is now going to be for the championships.
Yeah.
And Braun's like, I don't want to team with him. He sucks. He smells.
But as soon as he says it's for the tag team championships, he's like, fine.
Fine.
A title's a title.
I do's. Strowman kills them.
Yeah.
He kills Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. He's won the match within 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And then he hit the running power slam, and then Shane O'Mac on the outside is like, no, tag Pierce, tag Adam Pierce. And Braun's like,
okay.
I
show you I can play.
I show you I can be good boy who plays with friends and shares toys. He tags in Adam Pierce, and Adam Pierce gets rolled up instantaneously, and they lose.
He was even on a suit.
Oh yeah, he wasn't. Yeah, he was just in his
wrestling
suit.
on a suit. So
And on another side, this week, I'm tired of Adam Pierce now. They've killed the Adam Pierce thing for me at this point. Like after this week, the nonsense here, the nonsense on NXT, the nonsense on SmackDown. I'm done with Adam Pierce. We didn't need authority figures back, and Adam Pierce is just. I liked the idea of what they were doing, but it's just getting worse, and worse. We had another thing that wasn't great on the show, unfortunately. Elias taking on. That's hilarious. They've called this Elias versus Bad Bunny in the notes. Elias versus Damien Priest.
Yeah.
Which went so long.
Yeah, it did.
It was such a long match.
Damien Priest taking a lot of
Damien
hits.
Priest got beaten up for no reason. Doesn't make sense. You should be booking this guy to be strong. The best. Damien Priest is great, and he has such a great personality, rock star personality. Yeah. His charisma brings you in so much. But the thing is, him losing these matches or being in these matches for such a long amount of time, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah. And it makes him
getting
look
beaten
bad.
up for like half an hour for then to win the match.
And even really, like, of course, Elias had Jackson Riker out there, but Jackson didn't really do that much.
No, exactly, no.
He didn't do that much at all, really. So it's just like. But yeah, like Priest did get the victory eventually, but it just doesn't make him look good. There's no world where Elias should be making him struggle this much.
No.
We had a backstage thing with Randy Orton.
Randy Orton. Oh, that was so good.
He is talking about what happened last week, where he threw up black goop. He's been infected by ink. The ink monster has got inside his veins.
He's eaten an octopus.
Yeah.
And now he's throwing up ink. What?
Just the image. The image. But yes, so Randy Orton, the octopus eater, he's backstage having kind of promo about what's going on, and he wants this to be done. He wants rid of Alexa, essentially, blah 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 blah. But then on the screen we get Alexa once again, kind of promo on Randy and saying, "Bring him back, bring back the Fiend, bring him back." And then we see Randy Orton possessed on the TV. He does not remember recording that promo thing, so he gets very freaked out. Yeah, he's very freaked out. Randy Orton possessed by the Fiend, possessed by the octopus.
It is a very scary thought. Like,
it is.
Like seeing yourself on the TV and you saying things that you never said in your life.
Yeah, no, it is very creepy.
Being like, I'm on, like, let him in, basically. That was what he was saying.
They did a good job, and essentially Shadow Randy essentially went, cool, you're gonna face all the things that you've done in the past over the next up till WrestleMania. So essentially we're building to a Firefly Funhouse match is what it really seems like, and I'm down for that. I'm excited for the idea of that. I think they kind of...
I can't wait for the Finn to come back.
Yeah, I think they've kind of got back on the right path with this after the nonsense they had before. It doesn't really make sense why Alexa now doesn't care. Like, she, for some reason... Because, like, well, I guess it didn't make sense in the first place why she cared about getting the Raw Women's Championship, but now she doesn't care in the slightest, despite the fact that she was technically screwed out of winning the Raw Women's Championship because she had it won, but it was Randy Orton just coming in and hitting her with an RKO.
It doesn't matter that she doesn't want it. She doesn't really need it right now. Yeah. She's fine.
We'll see.
She's okay.
We'll see. We'll be interested to see whether there's any...
We'll see when the Fiend comes back and what they do with it.
Yeah. And also when Rhea Ripley comes on to...
yeah, exactly.
It'll be interesting to see whether there's any connection next.
Flow back to the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, because Rhea eliminated her instantaneously before anything happened.
Yeah.
But now we have the next part of the Miz Bobby Lashley storyline.
Sorry, Rhea and Nikki Cross get together to get Alexa Bliss back.
That's your dream.
Yes, it would be so cool. It would be so cool, like Rhea and Nikki Cross together.
Yeah. So,
anyways,
yes, on to the next part of the multi-part story of Bobby Lashley and The Miz. Bobby Lashley again comes out for his match, but this time Miz coming out in his ring attire. He is ready for this match.
Yeah.
The match starts, the bell rings, The Miz runs outside, gets his title, runs away.
While
Bobby Lashley stands in the ring going...
waiting for the 10 count.
Waiting for the 10 count. Why are you waiting for the 10 count, you idiot? Or like, why... as soon as you see The Miz leave the ring...
run after him.
Or why don't you know where he's going?
Yeah.
Like, you're in the Thunderdome. He can't go anywhere else apart from run up the actual ramp.
Yeah.
So why don't you block the ramp? Or why aren't the rest of your friends out here to go and block the ramp and prevent The Miz from running away?
Yeah.
This made Bobby Lashley look stupid.
Yeah, he did. He was just standing on the freaking
He just stood there going, I can't leave ring. Rules. I have to stay. I have rules to follow. And then 10 count goes and he runs and he's like, oh,
damn it.
Dang it. Yeah, that was kind of silly. But backstage, MVP and Lashley catch up with Shane O'Mac and Adam Pearce, and MVP tells them that this is some BS and that they have to sort this out, otherwise Lashley's going to do something. I don't remember.
People.
He's going to beat people. I don't remember entirely. He's going to do something. And Shane's like, look, I understand. Look, if Miz doesn't come for the main event match, then we'll strip the title. And they're like, okay, cool.
You have to come out.
And Shane's like, I'll think of something, some way that I can make it so that Miz can't escape. I'll have to think on this though, because I'm not entirely sure what obvious ways we could do this.
Yeah.
We have Charlotte Flair come out. She comes out for a promo, chatting about what's been going on with Ric Flair and Asuka and Lacey Evans, being like,
he actually stayed home this episode.
Yeah, Ric Flair stayed home. He wasn't there. Talking about all this stuff and how Asuka is out injured after having her teeth kicked out by Shayna Baszler.
Which they keep making a big deal out of it.
They keep
which
showing
I
it,
love.
which is entertaining. Apparently she might be concussed, which makes sense because obviously she'll get whacked in the head.
Yeah, because just losing a tooth doesn't really make you stop wrestling.
No. Well, it depends. Yeah, I don't know, actually. I don't know enough about it.
No, you just get like a little stitch and you're fine to go.
Oh, yeah, because you look at like when Sheamus got his teeth... No, Cesaro got his... Like, the match with the Hardys versus the Bar.
Yeah, you just put mouth guard back in.
Don't you remember that?
No.
When Cesaro got thrown into the... He was being thrown into the corner, but he went too far and ended up hitting the ring... corner on his teeth and
oh yes, and they went in
yes, it's gross.
Yeah, there you go. Like, you can come back, just put a mouth guard on and
so
just
gross.
to protect the stitches, and you're good.
But
so that makes sense.
But yeah, Charlotte essentially goes, when I came back, I didn't want to go for the championship. I just wanted to be a tag team, but things kept getting in the way. Things kept distracting me from what was going on. But then I've decided it's WrestleMania time, and you know what that means. It means I have to go for the championship. No one else is brave enough or strong enough to face Asuka. I'm the one who has to do it, so I want to face Asuka at WrestleMania. It's like, great.
Yeah.
Great. I know this is incredibly obvious, and it's just what it is. It's just a lazy way of getting to this point.
Yeah.
It's incredibly lazy. There should be some kind of story, like more of a storyline to this. I know they've had to make changes, because apparently Lacey was going to win.
Was going to win.
At Elimination Chamber. The reports were that Lacey was going to win, and the match was going to be Lacey Charlotte.
Okay. Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Yeah, but... they could have done this storyline a lot better to get to this point.
Yeah.
And we'll see where they go from here. But it's just like, if there was a crowd there,
people
it wouldn't
have
gone well. It wouldn't have gone well for Charlotte. No. And it's not that I have an issue with the match itself. I think it'd be a good match. It's just build it interestingly. Don't just build it as I'm Charlotte.
As with one promo, you build the match. Like, you have to keep working on it.
Well, not even that, just the idea that Charlotte is supposed to be a good guy, but is just like, I'm the best thing here.
I'm Charlotte, so I'm going to go.
I'm the main event, so I have to have the championship. Out comes Shayna and Nia. And they were kind of like, well, why can't we face Shayna? Why can't we face Asuka for the championship? And Charlotte proves the point because she beats Shayna Baszler within 2 minutes.
Yeah, she does. It's really
with natural
win.
Selection. It's
and no mention of the match of Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus the girls at NXT.
Yeah, just in commentary, but nothing proper. Mainly a real shame because you think about the fact that, like, if you look back a year, 2 years ago, Charlotte versus Shayna Baszler would be such a dream match, but hey ho.
Yeah.
We got the New Day taking on Retribution. No, we don't.
No.
I apologise. We have Retribution taking on Riddle and Lucha House Party.
Yeah.
I apologise. So this first match ends very quickly. Retribution tried to get their big victory, trying to prove something after this. They ended up beating up on Matt Riddle at the beginning, but as soon as Lucha House Party get in there, they managed to defeat Retribution with a double team move. Ali comes back in the ring and is again very upset and angry at Retribution because Retribution lost. And then he's like, Riddle, hey, you, stay here. I'm going to beat you up now. And Riddle's like, I'm going to
show them.
Yeah, I'm going to show them that I'm the best.
How to do it.
Yes, and then Riddle comes in and he's like, okay, bro.
Why not?
Yeah. And Ali, surprisingly enough, ends up actually winning this match over the United States champion. It comes down to distractions from Retribution on the outside. Yeah. They also surround the ring. Ali has Matt Riddle up on the top rope and they go for a move. They go for it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It was supposed to be a top rope like backstabber, but it really didn't work and didn't land very safely at all. But Ali does get the victory. Great. Give Ali some wins, please.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we're into our main event of the night, where The Miz comes out, Bobby Lashley comes out, and then out comes Shane O'Mac. Money. Shane O'Mac is going to be the next WWE champion. He is going to put himself in the match. It's going to be a triple threat. No, I'm joking. He decides that it's going to be lumberjacks. All the lumberjacks are going to come out, and out comes everyone, including
Strowman.
I was going to get to Strowman. I was going to mention Retribution first. The group that's supposed to be wanting to destroy the WWE from the inside. Who are just going to be lumberjacks on the outside in this one. But yes, also, Braun Strowman, the man who wanted to be WWE champion last week, probably should be upset that Bobby Lashley beat him up last week and attacked him post-match, should probably be upset probably shouldn't be listening to what Shane McMahon wants because he's in a feud with Shane McMahon. The cameras kept focusing on Braun Strowman.
Braun Strowman is way too big to be a lumberjack, man. He's gonna keep getting in the way of the cameras.
He was in a focal position there. He was literally he was at the ramp. He was like literally in the position of this is where you would leave. He was there very clearly in view. But didn't do anything. There was no storyline thing here. It didn't make sense.
They shouldn't just...
for Braun to be out there.
They should just not have him there.
Because why would he listen to Shane and just be like, okay Shane, I come up for lumberjack. I like lumberjack. It doesn't make any sense. It's just silly. And it's not even like you can argue, well, everyone came out. Where was Drew? Where was Sheamus? Where were all these people who had matches earlier tonight? If you're saying everyone had to come out, doesn't make any sense. Braun shouldn't have been there.
No.
But yes, Miz tries to get himself disqualified with the championship, but Lashley's like, no, I got you this time, boy.
Yeah.
Very easily wins, chucks the Miz around, he gets in the Hurt Lock, and Bobby Lashley is your new WWE champion and stands tall, celebrating, and again locks in the Hurt Lock again after the bell. I'm super happy for Lashley to win. Superb, well done, great stuff. I don't agree with the way they've done it. I think it's made Bobby look a bit silly. There was ways of doing this with still making Bobby Lashley look like a monster. Yeah. And also, it's confused. The face heel thing's kind of confusing with this as well.
Yes.
It's going to be weird when we go next week and Lashley's back to being Like, when Drew comes out to go and face off with him, he's going to be back to being the full heel after being this weird, like, tweenery thing at the moment being. It's kind of odd.
I guess it was just, like, the thing of, like, obviously The Miz does have to be scared of Bobby Lashley. But they should have made it so, like, every time he was going to face Lashley, they could still do this thing where he's scared of him and he's got to find a different way to run away from him. But the second time around, when he just left away with the 10 count, that was the bit that really
you just don't
made
make
me
him
a bit meh.
Just don't make it actually look silly.
Yeah.
Because he's not an idiot. He's the CEO of the Hurt Business. He should know what he's doing. I think either they should have just done this last week and just had him beat Miz last week and had it be the shock value of him beating Miz straight away and like completely outsmarting Miz last week, or they should have just done this angle once a week until Fastlane.
Yeah.
Every week, The Miz has a different way of getting out of his title match until Fastlane, where he's locked inside a steel cage.
Yeah.
Something like that gives Bobby Lashley the big win on Fastlane, and then you start the pay-per-view match with there.
Yeah.
Either or, one of those two things I think would have been better that didn't make Bobby look like a complete idiot, because he just looked like he did look silly.
Yeah, no, he
but
did.
It's not going to matter. Come next week, it'll all be better. On to NXT, starting things off with Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan just taking on Ciampa and Thatcher. This is because Wesley and the other guy, MSK, were taken out by Grizzled Young Vets last week. They're supposed to have their tag team championship match this week, but alas, no more. They will have it at some point in the future.
Yeah, he actually had his hand
broken. Yeah, his hand is legitimately broken. Yeah. It was broken during the Vengeance Day match. Pretty good match, this one. Yeah. But Imperium comes out at the end to cause the distraction, and the champions manage to hit Thatcher with the win. Exciting.
Yeah.
Exciting potential. So Thatcher was in the independent scene when I forgot when Imperium was called now in the independent scene. It's been such a long time, but Thatcher was a major part of Imperium. Okay. So he does legitimately have history with them. So the idea of Thatcher being with Imperium, and I think it'd be really helpful. Yeah, because he could be the US leader of Imperium.
Yeah, exactly.
While Walter's the European leader, and then like when you have Walter, because you can't have Walter over there all the time and stuff like that. So, especially at the moment being, and he doesn't want to be over there full time. So having Thatcher as the US leader would be great. Yeah. And really give him like some more heat. And he just needs Thatcher needs some wins. Yes. He lost so much, but Thatcher's great. I really like Thatcher. I think he's great. And yeah, if we go into him properly turning on Ciampa, I'm fine with seeing Ciampa and Thatcher again. I know we've had it, but I'd be fine with seeing it again. Yeah. Finn Balor has a promo next up.
No, Roddy does. No?
Oh, no, Roderick does. Yeah. I apologise.
You watched the videos today.
You watched it more recently than I did. Roddy Strong comes up around wanting to call out Adam Cole after last week, where Adam turned on Roddy, hitting him in the balls. Yeah. Roddy's very upset and wants answers from Adam Cole after what's happened. But
it's all Finn's fault. He's saying that it's all Finn's fault because since Finn's came back and he's been on the scene with the championship, he's just like, Adam's lost it. Yeah. Basically.
Finn comes out onto Strong instead, and the two get into a battle of the words, and then eventually it leads into a massive brawl. They have to be split up by all of the security and everyone setting up the main event match of tonight. Finn Balor versus Roderick Strong. We see a continued segment throughout the night. The way are in therapy. So much fun. This was so much fun. Like, all of these guys, they work together so well. They really have great comedy chops.
Yeah. It's so funny.
Hilarious stuff. Austin Theory saying that he was just on vacation. He had a lovely little time with Dexter Lumis. He
had me in a room. We watched cartoons.
It was great. He did drawings.
We draw together, and I was just in a room with the windows closed and everything.
Indy Hartwell doodling Mrs. Indy Wrestling
Loomis.
I forgot his name. And Johnny Gargano gets very upset. He gets super upset, and eventually the doctor tells him he has to leave the room. It's too much. He has to leave after he gets so angry at Austin Theory and Indy.
And the therapist
herself.
The therapist,
And then later in the night, we'll go through all of them now because they're all kind of together. Candice and Hartwell are now in the room with Theory instead, but eventually they were thrown out of the room as well, and the doctor was left alone with Austin Theory.
Oh, this was because Candice kept receiving the text from...
she was just Johnny was just texting her things to say.
Yeah, exactly.
From
so she would
say
something, and then suddenly she would change her mind and just say something else. And the doctor was like, is your husband texting you?
Yes.
And so that's why she sent them away.
And then it's just Theory and Loomis. Theory and the doctor in the room, and the doctor says that she'd spoken. What actually happened? And she'd spoken to Dexter Loomis. Yeah. And Austin Theory's like, but he doesn't speak. He doesn't talk. He doesn't speak. What are you talking about?
And she was like, oh, he spoke and he said a lot of things.
Yeah.
He basically told me that you talk too much. You talk too much.
And you were essentially an annoying brat.
Yes.
And he just wanted rid of you. That's why he let you go. And Austin Theory ends up breaking down and crying.
Crying a lot.
And running outside to the way. They all hug. And then Johnny's like, oh, wait a second. I need to have one last word with the therapist. Gets out the money from behind his North American Championship and goes, thank you very much. Mwahahaha. Naughty
That's
Johnny.
So funny though.
Naughty Johnny.
So funny.
Yeah. Ember Moon gets a very quick win over Elias.
Mm-hmm.
The only fun bit about this was the fact that Robert Stone is still terrified of Shotzi's tank.
Yeah, he is.
Which I love.
It's so funny.
But this is it's good stuff for the like we talked about earlier, the report of tag team championships. Yeah. They're still building these tag teams. Ember and Shotzi
it's
still
not
being
like
together.
They're separating them or anything.
Yeah, no, and then obviously Elias and Jessica Mia as well. It's good to have tag teams. We go into the big women's tag team match for the women's tag team championships a lot earlier in the card than I expected, and that's because of the nonsense that happened. Dakota Kai and Shayna were kind of the main thread of this match. They kept coming back to each other because obviously they have a lot of history together.
Dakota trying to show
that she can finally beat Shayna Baszler. Yeah, she's no longer scared of her. She's not the same person she once was. But this all comes down to Shayna eventually has Dakota in the Kirifuda clutch, but Raquel Gonzalez tags herself in so that Raquel's the legal woman. Raquel now fighting with Nia Jax on the outside over by the announce table. They both go over the announce table. The referee gets knocked down at some point during all of this.
Oh yeah, Raquel hits the referee with the kick when she kicks Nia Baszler. Nia Baszler. When she kicks Nia Jax off the side of the ring.
Yeah.
And she ends up kicking the ref as well.
Yes, that's it. So they end up over the announce table, and then out comes Adam Pearce with a Raw referee who runs down. Shayna Baszler locks in the Kirifuda clutch again on Dakota Kai, and the ref goes, she's tapping, she's out. Ding, 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 ding. And of course, Dakota Kai wasn't the legal woman in the match.
Oh yeah, I didn't even put two and two together with that.
Yeah, she wasn't the legal woman.
Okay.
That was the storyline.
I see. I missed the whole storyline.
You missed the story. To be fair, it's not just I think I was listening to other people talking about it, and they missed the tag as well. But yeah, Raquel was the legal woman.
I think I saw the tag, but as soon as Raquel took out the ref, I kind of forgot. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. It was a fine match. And then, William Regal's very upset.
Yeah, we see Regal backstage later in the night having a word with Adam Pearce, and then he announces that he's going to have this groundbreaking announcement next week. We see William Regal backstage as well, talking to Cameron Grimes, who has been gambling backstage. The NXT, William Regal tells him that he's going to face Bronson Reed later the night. And Grimes tries to get out of the match, tries to pay William Regal, and Regal's not interested in this.
Of course not. He has enough money.
He has morals.
And he has enough money.
Yes. We got another promo from Isaiah Swerve Scott in a recording studio.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah, pretty good. And he's going to continue in the storyline with Leon Ruff, that he's going to take away all the opportunities from Leon Ruff that Leon Ruff got
Yeah.
We got the debut promo from LA Knight stepping into the ring for the first time. He essentially just talked his mouth off.
Yeah,
pretty good
it was
promo.
Good. It was a really good promo.
Yeah, it's a good promo. Be interested to see when see him in the ring now. He's proved that he can do some good promo work.
Yeah.
See where he goes when he's in the ring.
He knows how to talk too much.
And see what the difference is between, like, him and Bobby Roode. Like, when Bobby Roode's in NXT, it's essentially the same gimmick.
I was going to say between him and the dude that disappeared since the guys won the tag team championship. The what's his name? Pat McAfee.
Oh, yes, Pat McAfee as well. It's very similar.
It's very similar between...
Yeah.
I kept thinking about him
when
he was doing the promo.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Out comes Bronson Reed for his match, and LA Knight gets out of the ring and leaves. Allows Bronson Reed to have his match with Cameron Grimes. But at the end of the match, out comes LA Knight again, distracting Bronson Reed.
Cameron Grimes tries to buy...
Yes, Cameron Grimes tries to get out of the match by paying Bronson Reed to not have the match, continuing the $1 million man shtick.
No, of course, he didn't care.
Yeah. But the match wins with Cameron Grimes hitting the cave-in after the destruction from LA Knight. Good to see Cameron Grimes getting the win.
Yeah.
Good to see Bronson Reed being given a storyline, because he kind of not really had one for a long old time. Next up, we had a promo from Caden Carter talking to Xia Li. They're going to have their match next week on NXT. We got the confirmation that Finn Balor and Adam Cole will be fighting for the NXT Championship next week, and that Toni Storm and Io Shirai will be fighting for the Women's Championship next week. Very intense stuff going on. Everrise was supposed to go have a match with Breezango, but out came Santo Escobar and Legado del Fantasma. They took him out and essentially just trying to prove that they're still a big deal. They're still a big deal after losing to Karrion Kross last week. And then in our main event, Finn Balor and Roddy Strong went at it. Really good match between these two, as you would expect, because it's Roderick Strong and it's Finn Balor. Really good stuff. Finn Balor, though, managing to get the big win with the coup de grace in 1916 for the victory. And then out come Adam Cole to end the show, staring down to Finn Balor, setting up their title match for next week.
Yeah.
Looking forward to a very big show of NXT next week.
Yeah.
Going to be very exciting indeed. But talking about big shows, AEW started off with Shaq and Jade Cargill versus Cody and Red Velvet.
What a match.
It was a lot of fun.
What a match.
It was a lot of fun. There was lots of silly stuff. It was
so good.
Yeah, Shaq...
I'm not the table. You break me into pieces. I'm not the table. I don't know what I'm singing, but
I have no idea what you're doing either. But hello. Yes, of course. So Shaq came out. He's so big.
He's so tall.
Big. Shaq and Cody went into it. Shaq kind of throwing Cody around pretty much. Cody made Shaq look good.
Yeah.
Obviously, it meant that Cody couldn't really do any moves, but it was fine. It didn't really matter. On the outside, it kind of silly that the referee... It's AEW, they don't disqualify anything.
Yeah.
But Austin Gunn literally just hits Shaq with a chair for no reason from the outside. No reason at all.
And Shaq obviously just...
And then Shaq tosses all of the guns around the place, throws them all around. But really the thing that was the most exciting thing about this match was the women in this match, Red Velvet and Jade Cargill. They did a really good job, particularly Jade.
Jade is incredible.
Yeah, really showing off what she can do, and really has that the really great ability of being able to gloat in the ring while doing all of this stuff, like showing off the heel and the cockiness, being in the figure four leg lock and being on one arm in the figure four leg lock and putting her other arm up to flex, doing press ups. It was really good stuff, really old school stuff. Red Velvet looked good as well. She really had a lot of fire behind her. You could tell this match meant a lot to her. But it's a really good match. Eventually Cody jumps into Shaq. Before that though, Shaq hits in a lovely tribute, does the Ambrosio Lee powerbomb.
Yes.
Which Cody does get up very quickly, which is a bit silly, but it's fine. He gets up very quickly, slams Shaq down to the mat, which was cool. Eventually runs in Shaq on the apron and does a huge crossbody through two tables on the outside, which just properly
shattering all of the tables.
Yeah.
Like, people sometimes have a hard time breaking the tables. These guys did not have a hard time at all.
No, properly just went into a million pieces.
As soon as he touched the table, it just felt like the table just completely shattered.
Yeah. But then the match finished with Jade getting the big face buster for the win in the ring. Exactly what it should have been in terms of Jade getting the big victory in this one. She was really the showcase for this. But my favourite thing of this, the funniest thing of the night for me, we go backstage, we see Shaq is being put inside the ambulance.
I forgot about that.
But they can't close the doors.
He doesn't fit inside the
He's
ambulance.
too tall for the ambulance. So Shaq, even though he's supposed to be unconscious or whatever after going through this table, he has to lift up his knees and bend his knees in so that he can fit inside the ambulance.
That's so funny.
And then you go, and then I don't know what that was shown on the US one or that was just off ITV. I don't really know. And then we see Tony Schiavone back in front of... We go away from it for a second and then come back. And Tony Schiavone's outside the ambulance and he wants to check up with Shaq, even though Shaq's in an ambulance. He probably shouldn't check up on him right now. He should be going to hospital.
Yes.
But he opens the doors and there is no Shaq. Shaq has vanished. Shaq is the new
Such
Fiend.
a big man just disappears out of thin dust.
So what's going to happen after out of thin dust? Out of thin air.
Thin air, thank you.
So what's going to happen at the ladder match this Sunday? There's going to be... suddenly going to be a blackout
Shaq
during the match. Cody's going to be climbing the... Cody's going to be climbing the ladder. He's going to climb the ladder. He's going to be doing whatever... I don't know. Climbing the ladder for some reason. I don't know what if it's going to be a contractor of the ring or whatever. I don't know. But he's going to be climbing the ladder and then going to go to black. And then we're going to come back and Cody is going to be on the shoulders of Shaquille O'Neal. And Shaq is now the ladder. And then he drops Cody down and takes him out. I was going to say Shaq will win the opportunity to be the face of Revolution because he's so tall he doesn't even need the ladder. We got Death Triangle squashing two guys. I don't know who they are, but they won super quickly. It was good stuff. They flew. They had 1 minute and they flew, as you would expect. We got a press conference with MJF and Jericho about their tag team championship match. I really like the fact they do this with the Inner Circle so much. It's a really nice thing. They're so good anyway at doing it, so just keep doing it. Journalists came out to ask questions, including Conrad Thompson, who asked about Sammy Guevara, and MJF responded by calling him Turkey Tits. Yes, I forgot. It's so funny. There was a lot of name calling. Yes, there was a lot of name calling. We got a guy from Barstool Wrestling who was also on the NXT Vengeance Day pre-show panel a couple of weeks ago, which is entertaining. And then finally, of course, EB Eric Bischoff turns up to ask Jericho about Papa Buck after what he did last week. Y2J doesn't care about Papa Buck, and they essentially say it wasn't even their idea, it was Santana and Ortiz's idea to go and take out Papa Buck. The Young Bucks come out, got a good promo, got a pretty impassioned promo onto onto MJF and Jericho. Nothing too special, but it was good stuff behind it. It was telling how if it wasn't for them, there wouldn't be an AEW, and saying, Jericho, if we hadn't signed you into AEW right now, you would be opening the curtains at the Performance Center. There was a lot of burns on this promo. Yeah, there was. And it was a good promo. It just suffered from being next to a Jericho and MJF promo. Yeah. Because obviously they ain't as good. But yeah, all about how Papa Buck taught them to be good people, essentially. They end up going into a big brawl, attacking everyone. Out comes Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson with tables, and they get Santana and Ortiz on the tables, and both of the Bucks dive onto them, taking them out through tables, getting their revenge on Santana and Ortiz for the idea that they wanted to kill Papa Buck. Yeah. We got the big FTR and Tully versus Jurassic Express. FTR and Tully came out with old NWA titles. So cool. A lovely reference, which just before Jim Crockett was revealed to have died, which is. It was a lovely, because obviously he was in hospital, I believe. So it was a lovely gesture, homage. And then obviously. Yeah. They were also with JJ Dillon, the former manager of the Horsemen. This was a fun match. This one, Tully managing to get in a few attacks on Marco Stunt throughout it, pretended to go for a suicide dive.
Oh god, I really thought until the last minute they was going to do that suicide dive off the ring. And then I was like, of course he's not. No. Like, I'm silly.
Goes into a strut.
Yeah. And then it starts like, na 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 na, na na na.
JJ Dillon tries to use his shoe to attack Jurassic Express, handing it to one of FTR. But it doesn't end up working out for them. Luchasaurus manages to take out FTR and knocks Tully Blanchard down with a big tail whip. Mm-hmm. It looks like he teases going for a bigger move and then's like, I don't want to break Tully Blanchard.
Yeah.
Let's kick him in the face instead. Really fun stuff. But eventually a camera operator helped get FTR back in control of the match, and they ended up hitting the big spike pile driver onto Luchasaurus. Tully Blanchard getting the win, and the cameraman comes into the ring, takes off his mask, takes off his hood, and it's a blonde mohawk. It's Sean Spears the Blonde. He's come out and he's rejoined. Yeah, makes perfect sense.
So happy he's back and that he's joining them.
Yeah, I'm really happy to see this. Yeah, it's good to see Sean back. He's been gone for quite a while, and hopefully this is going to mean something big for him. And this is really, 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 really heavily pushing towards the Four Horsemen.
Yeah.
So all this really needs is now one final man to become the Four Horsemen.
Yeah.
And potentially looking like it could maybe be Cody, with Arn Anderson coming out.
Yeah, and
throwing up the four. And potentially Cody Rhodes could be the leader of the Four Horsemen.
Yeah, I would not be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised because they need a main eventer because they have the tag team.
Yeah.
They have the mid-card guy in Sean Spears who can be the guy who takes losses for them as well. And then you need that main event guy, and that probably should be Cody. Even though Cody can't go for the main title, obviously.
Yeah, but still.
But it's not necessarily necessary. But we'll see. Someone like Cody, someone on that level it needs to be.
Yeah.
And if Cody is a heel, he could use that character change.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah. Next up, we have the final of the Eliminator Tournament, Mizunami and Rose. I'll be honest, I got distracted by NXT at this point.
Yes.
But Mizunami got the big win. Hikaru Shida comes in to present her with the trophy. They do a handshake, then they don't let go and have a little bit of a few forearms to go and build up to their match.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah. We got the big... I forgot to mention Paul White, of course, coming out doing his promo about how he's going to be on commentary for AEW Revolution.
It feels like they were waiting for the female tag team match.
Yeah, it was very
at NXT
rushed. It was weird timing
for them to come in and do that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was odd timing of how the segment lined up.
They finished the segment just before, like very quickly, just so he could show up.
Yeah, the Four Horsemen had to be scored out of the ring really quickly while Tony was like pacing on the top of the
already coming out.
It's odd.
Yeah.
The funniest thing was JJ Dillon leaving and being like,
"Oh God,
I can't avoid that." What he said, like, nothing's gonna be better than that.
Yeah.
And then Tony goes, "Yeah, well, you don't get paid extra for that." It's very funny.
He's the best.
But yeah, Paul White comes out looking very happy. Does anyone see this turn coming? Putting his hand up. Poking fun at all the stuff in WWE.
Yeah.
He looked very happy to be there, which is great
just
for
like
him.
tearing up and everything, and like so happy.
And it's going to be good to see him on commentary
With this
soon.
No More BS t-shirt.
No More BS, yes.
Which is absolutely gold.
Apparently the music he came out to was just the music for AEW Dark.
Okay.
So I guess they don't have music for him yet officially.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But yeah, I didn't notice personally, but I saw someone saying that. But yeah, talks about how he's going to be on commentary, piping up himself, and then talked about how at AEW Evolution he's going to be there to reveal the Hall of Fame worthy signing. Yeah, exciting stuff. We go on to Preston Vance versus Max Castards to decide who is going to be the fifth man in the Face of the Revolution ladder match. Scorpio Sky out on commentary for this one. This one ends with Jack Evans, who was underneath the ring, picks up I forgot what you call the boombox, that's what you call it, the boombox of Max Caster and hits 10 in the head, allowing Max to get the victory. Apparently, part of the reason for this is because, not part of the reason, but Anthony Bowens is injured currently, so he's a tag partner. Only for like a month or so not very long. But that's probably part of the reason why
they made
Max Castards getting this opportunity.
A very bad, sad rhyme when they go like, "We're gonna hit you harder than like." Just basically talking about how I'm
gonna drop you harder than Lady Gaga's dog walker or something like that.
Which is like, it's too soon. I know he's out of risk and everything, but basically Lady Gaga's dog walker was assaulted and got shot, and they stole Lady Gaga's dogs, which are worth a lot of money. Obviously, he's out of risk, but it was a bit too soon.
It was too soon. It's the issue when you have people. It's the only kind of issue with people making their own promos. Yeah. Is the pub stuff can be, they're trying to be too edgy, especially when it's that kind of thing. Too soon. And it's a bit soon, trying to be topical, but yeah.
It's okay. I let it slide.
It's fine. It's not the end of the world. But yeah, Max Caster getting the big win. Matt Hardy comes out, gives Jack Evans a big old letter with £4,200 worth of cash. 420.
420.
Because it's 4,200.
Oh.
I don't know why they referenced to that number, but they did. John Silver and Adam Page versus Matt Hardy and Mark Quinn in the main event. Fun old match.
Yeah.
Don't really know why they changed this match from the big Dark Order thing. I guess because they didn't have a main event for the evening, perhaps. But you could have had the Four Horsemen thing be the main event.
Exactly.
I kind of think
end it on the thing of showing up.
I know obviously that's not like a build into Revolution.
But still.
But I think that would have been a better main event. This wasn't. This was a weird choice for main event.
Yeah.
But it's a good match. Hangman ends up getting the victory over Quen with the buckshot lariat, but then Matt Hardy came and attacked Hangman with the mic afterwards, beating down on him, and being happy that Hangman's picking up another victory because Matt Hardy wants to be able to take away that win streak and that big money is what he wants.
Yeah.
Out comes the Dark Order for the save, but then every other tag team in the world come out. Massive brawl. In comes Pac and Phoenix with their music, and that's it. It just ends.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fine. It just wasn't necessarily the strongest ending to an episode of Dynamite that I've seen. It wasn't the best ending. But to finish things off, we'll go through SmackDown very quickly. Daniel Bryan kicked things off, cutting a very long promo.
Oh, yeah.
And it was not like it was a bad promo. It was just long, and he kind of lost his place a few times.
Yeah. He kind of like
a bit of a shame.
Stepped on his own words, and then like from there on...
He kind of threw him.
Yeah, he kind of threw him off.
But saying that essentially he's always been the guy who's just gone along with what's been given to him. He's a happy-go-lucky guy. He doesn't have that much like...
he doesn't have ambition. He did a test.
Yeah.
He's done a test with the person back then in...
Which makes... By the way, that makes no sense. Because if you think about at WrestleMania 30, he had to go through like 9 months of absolute nonsense to be able to win that WWE Championship.
So it's like the doctor told him, you're the person with least ambition I've seen in my entire career. Yeah, and it's like, that doesn't really make sense.
I don't think so. Strangely enough, I don't think so. But Brian is upset with the idea of Attitude Era versus the Thunderdome Era, and is like, I don't want this match.
Yeah.
I don't want to tag with Edge. No one asked me if I wanted to tag with Edge to face Reigns and Jey Uso, blah, 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 blah. They have a commercial break. Out comes Reigns and Paul Heyman. They say respond. The Tribal Chief essentially just calls out Brian for him not needing to do this, and the Jey Uso's going to beat him. Jey tries to get a cheap shot in on Brian, but Brian is ready for him this time, throws him out of the ring. Yeah, it was super long, this segment.
Very, very,
we ended up being
long.
half an hour into SmackDown without any matches. And it's not that it was bad, it was just long.
It was just long.
Unnecessary. A lot of time wasting on this show.
I feel like because of watching this live and everything, like the amount of advertising breaks they have.
Advertising.
Advertising. All of the ad breaks they have between promos and stuff is just to just gets you off.
Far too much. We're told we're getting a tag team match between King Corbin and Sami Zayn against Street Profits. Street Profits come out. Zayn comes out and starts to cut a promo about
him and King Corbin being the best. King Corbin being the best tag team.
Yeah, how they have the potential to be the best tag team, despite things going badly last week. Out comes Corbin. He's like, "Look, Sammy, I'm a singles person. I'm a singles star.
I am not
we could be
tagging
great, but I'm a singles star. Goddammit!" And on that note, who wants a singles match? And then Montez agrees to face Corbin, and Dawkins is going to face Sammy. Sammy's upset with this because he wasn't ready for a singles match.
Yeah.
The first match with Ford and Corbin gets the big victory with end of days after Sami Zayn causes the distraction.
Like 2 minutes in the match.
These matches are both of these matches are super quick. Sami Zayn then asks Corbin to be like, Corbin, come on. Help me out, bro. I helped you. Angelo Dawkins dives into Sami Zayn, which then knocks into Corbin. Corbin's upset with Sami because Sami knocked into him. He hurt his head. Baron Corbin has a boo-boo on his head. And Corbin's like, nah, I'm leaving.
Good luck, Zayn. Bye.
Yeah. We see the match. Zayn gets distracted when Montez Ford starts messing around with his camera crew. Dawkins gets the roll up after Zayn.
Yeah.
And then Zayn takes it out on his camera crew after the match, beating one of them up. Apparently Blake Christian, one of the recent NXT call-ups. Not call-ups, one of the recent NXT signings, I mean.
Yes.
We see Dominic Mysterio taking on Chad Gable. Kind of a shame to see Dominic beat Gable very easily.
Yes.
Doesn't really help the heat that they had, really.
Yeah. It was another quick win-ish. Quick-ish win.
It's a good match for Dominic, though. It's always nice to see Dominic getting opportunities and being in there with Gable.
Especially, it's nice to see him.
Yeah. It's always good, but it's just 50-50.
Yeah.
We got Shayna Baszler versus Bianca Belair. Did they cut a promo beforehand? No, it was just entrances. Everyone comes out, and then eventually Sasha comes out, and so does Reginald. Earlier in the night, we saw Reginald and Carmella backstage.
Carmella upset with him and firing him.
Yep, she's upset. She's like, nope, I'm done with you, Reginald. Goodbye. Reginald comes out because, of course, he loves Sasha Banks. Sasha turns around like, dude, stop following me, you creep. Bianca Belair ends up beating Baszler quite easily with the what's he called? Oh, I've forgotten to finish the name. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. But she picks up the big victory eventually. But she is unhappy with Reginald because during the match, Belair ended up being knocked into Reginald or something, and then she shoved Reginald, and she gets in Banks' face afterwards and slaps Reginald and tells Banks, hey, keep him away from me.
Yeah.
Why are we doing this? Why? Like this tag team match at Fastlane makes no sense.
No.
Makes absolutely no sense.
I mean, I'm glad that Carmella finally had a say on all this Reginald thing.
Yeah, but her say was, I don't want anything to do with you anymore.
Yeah, but at least she's been like, she went on to say something, because we haven't heard anything about her, about him being with Sasha Banks, and it's like, you should be very upset because you hate Sasha Banks.
Yeah.
It's just a big mush.
It's just like, why are we doing this to get this match? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
No sense at all.
No, too much.
But
anyway.
There was a backstage thing where Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville were chatting with Natalya and Tamina. Natalya and Tamina were upset with the tag match booked for Fastlane because they're like, we've been winning matches. They ain't won tag team matches. We've won tag team matches. And Adam Pearce is like, well, tough. Yeah. It's booked. And then Sonya goes, well, I probably would have booked something different. Showing some dissension here.
Yeah.
On Smackdown, I wouldn't mind if Adam Pearce goes away and Sonya Deville takes charge instead. That'd be fine by me. We get Cesaro taking on the returning Buddy Murphy after earlier in the night Seth Rollins was cutting a promo backstage talking about how Cesaro's massive swing that he hit on Seth Rollins last week, and how the only reason Cesaro did it is because he won't embrace the vision. He won't do it. He needs me. And then out comes Buddy Murphy, and he's like,
I'll help you.
Would you like me to help you with Cesaro? And then he goes, no, leave me alone.
Get out of my face.
Get out of my face. I'm very happy to see Murphy back on TV.
So happy.
But perhaps don't just put him back with Seth Rollins like nothing ever happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Doesn't really make any sense. Like, what happened to Elias? What happened to his relationship with the Mysterios? Yeah. All of this, everything he's been through with Seth Rollins, and now he's just back to being on his team again. Yeah. It doesn't really make all that much sense. But he has a really good match with Cesaro. Pretty short, though.
Yeah.
A lot of short matches on SmackDown. Cesaro gets the big win, obviously, swinging him around and getting him in the sharpshooter for the submission. Seth Rollins gets up and applauds Cesaro after the match.
Boo.
We go into our main event, and for some reason, Corey Graves is out here telling us the rules of a steel cage match in the middle of the ring, pointing out the cameraman sitting on top of the steel cage for about 5 minutes. I don't really know why. They were killing time on this show.
I guess they were just putting the cage together or something. I don't know.
Well, no,
like
the cage,
attaching it
the cage
to the
was
floor.
there.
Yeah, but attaching it to the floor of the ring or whatever.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I have no idea what they were doing. But yeah, Jey Uso and Bryan, they had a really good match in the main event.
Yeah.
Pretty typical, though, to what we have seen from these two. Nothing really new. Roman Reigns sitting on a chair.
In the middle of the ramp.
Yeah, on an office chair, not a wrestling chair, with Paul Heyman over his shoulder. It was very entertaining.
Paul Heyman has a really good flat back.
Does he? I didn't notice.
When he's like leaning over to like look at Roman Reigns, his back is always so like horizontal. It's absolutely incredible. Wow. Like, kudos.
But yeah, this one ended up with Jey ends up with a super kick and huge splash, trying to get the win, but only getting a near fall. Bryan ends up getting in the yes kicks, hitting Jey off of the steel cage itself. And then Bryan hits a suplex on the top right, applies the yes lock, and Jey is forced to tap out as Roman Reigns watches on and is like,
I'm disappointed.
God dang. I have to fight now.
Before Roman Reigns had told Uso that like if he lost would be like a
disgrace to the family.
Disgrace, yeah, and everything. So he's very upset now.
See, Bryan has now got his match at Fastlane against Roman Reigns. I
don't think he's going to win.
He's going to lose. I really don't see where Bryan's going at WrestleMania.
No.
Like, I thought we were going to like potentially Bryan Seth, but like it feels more like we're going to drag the Cesaro thing out all the way to WrestleMania, which I would probably prefer. I prefer Cesaro to get that spot and have that big match with Rollins because he kind of deserves it. But I have no idea what Bryan's going to do at Mania. Again, you ask, where's Bryan's friends?
Yeah.
What's happened to Kevin Owens? He hasn't been seen since Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where's Edge?
Yeah, where's Edge?
Where's Edge? The Royal Rumble winner who said he was going to be on, who's selling into and stuff. Oh yeah, I'm going to be around I'm going to be around every week on the way to WrestleMania. Well, you ain't been around that much, in my opinion. Not as much as you should have been.
Yeah.
But that's it for this week's podcast. We'll be back on Monday with our review of Revolution. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next time.